It's almost the new year, a time of new beginnings. And what better way to start the new year right than to have on your calendar a personal one-on-one encounter to deal with issues you may never have considered, you may never have talked about or received prayer for. Schedule a personal encounter now. In a seminar city, meet me somewhere, or come to our ministry center here in Phoenix, Arizona, and get the new year started right. For many years, I've been the go-to person in the secular media when they have questions about demons and the devil, and I've done scores of television shows and series talking about demons. And the questions that I get from the secular media fall into a couple of basic categories. First of all, they want to know, what is a demon? Secondly, how does somebody know if they're possessed and have a demon? Third, why is there an increasing interest in this topic today? And fourth, is it harder to cast out demons today than when I first started? As to the first question, demons are fallen angels, part of the group of angels that rebelled with Lucifer and were kicked out of heaven, 1/3 of heaven's angels. Secondly, most people don't know that they are possessed. Now, some people have a vague sense that they are tormented, but most don't. How would you know? Well, if you've tried everything in terms of medical science and in terms of theology and nothing seems to be working, possession might be the problem. Why is there an increase of interest in the world of the demonic and exorcism and deliverance and healing? Simply because things are getting worse. There's such an incredible moral deterioration in society. But as to the fourth question, is it harder? Well, the answer is yes, it is harder. And I want to talk to you a little bit about why it's harder to do deliverance today. I've often said, actually, the disciples of Christ and those of the apostolic age had it relatively easy compared to our times. That's why the promise of John 14:12 of doing greater works in the name of Jesus is so crucial in the time in which we live. In AD 2000, in this new millennium, deliverance is more difficult than it was in Bible times because the devil's had 2,000 more years to up his game, to develop counter strategies. The promise of Mark 16:15 that the followers of Christ would cast out demons in his name as part of the proclamation of the gospel was a bit of a shock to Satan. And so he's been recovering from learning what God's purposes are and developing a way to fight back. And he's had many, many more years to do that since the time of Christ. Secondly, it's harder today because of the moral entropy and general deterioration of society. You know, in the time of Jesus and in the apostolic age, there was no internet pornography. Sexual abuse was not rampant. You couldn't be just a mouse click away from a spell to put witchcraft on somebody. Satanism wasn't a developed kind of theological outlook popularized in movies and television. There was no such thing as the New Age and this cross-pollution of occultism from various world religions. All of that didn't exist during the time of Christ and the years afterwards. And there's another problem we have today that makes it harder, and that's what's happening to the human brain through the onslaught of drugs in our society. In the apostolic age and in the early church, there was no LSD, no ayahuasca, no marijuana wide usage, no meth, no mushrooms, no psychotropic drugs. So yes, it is harder, but I want to assure you that the grace of God is greater. And we have more tools at our disposal today to fight the devil than they did in the early church. Just take our International School of Exorcism, the repository of knowledge that this represents. You can have the teachings of our School of Exorcism literally in the palm of your hand. You don't have to carry around an encyclopedic reference full of books of information. You don't have to carry around a monitor and a DVD player. You just flip out your cell phone and there it is 24/7. So This expansive source of knowledge is right there all the time. That wasn't possible in previous times. Yes, these are desperate times. And yes, this new millennium, AD 2000, is an era in which Satan is at work as never before. But we have resources Christians have never had. And even though the demons are more firmly entrenched, the exponential increase of opportunities to fight back in the name of Jesus are greater than they ever have been, so that we can push back and win this war against the forces of darkness. My question to you is this: will you, in AD 2000, in this new millennium of opportunity to set people free, will you be a warrior for Christ, to rise up, to declare that people can get free, stay free, and live free? Cancel curses, break soul ties, cleanse your ancestry, and cast out demons. Enroll now in the International School of Exorcism and the Advanced Academy of Deliverance.
For the latest information on resources, seminars, conferences, training institutes, retreats, and international missions, go to boblarson.org. Thank you for your prayers and financial partnership.